What's up, Soul Tribe family, and welcome to another episode of Soul Seek Conversations, our mental health podcast. If you are new here, my name is Soliél Lindsey, and this podcast exists to share stories of resilience, to build global community, and for you to discover new ways to thrive via the brave voices of others. I'm the owner of Soul Rise Essentials. We are a mental wellness brand based in Richmond, Virginia, and this podcast is one way that we build community, aka the Soul Tribe family, around our global mission to shine a light on mental health. And I am super excited because I have a lovely guest here today, Morgan Carey. Happy fall. This is a time of year where we have to take extra special care of ourselves because serotonin levels seem to be going down and we're not getting as much sunlight. The days are shorter. So make sure you are doing what you need to do for your mental health and wellness to simply check in and take care of yourself. I actually pulled out, which is very bright, similar to these lights that I have up here. Thank you. I pulled out the SAD light. I forgot the actual name of it. SAD, seasonal something depression, but it's just like a light. And you can keep it near you if you're in your office, if you're working inside, all throughout the year, really, if you don't get any sunlight inside of the building that you may work in. But I always forget to use it each year. So I pulled it out with intention this year to use it because we're not getting as much sunlight. And so the idea is that whatever you're doing, if you're working, you keep it near you and it gives you like a little burst of not vitamin D per se, but it makes you feel happier. So you can go and you can do the research on that yourself. Yes, but they are very handy and it's 2025. So they've probably got different versions of it now, but it's very inexpensive. And it's one way that we can take care of ourselves. Also, at the Soul Tribe family, we don't believe in acting like everything's okay if it's not okay. You feel me? Honor all those emotions. We honor every single emotion that we may feel, even if we can't explain it, child, because we don't do perfection over here. That is what the Soul Tribe is all about, Soul Tribe family. And so when you come on these podcasts, we have a lot of fun. There's so much information that is shared. We get very deep, but we laugh, we spread wisdom, and we have a good time. Okay? We also do a trigger warning because we do talk about some things that could be touching, to the heart or whatever. And we don't want to trigger anybody. You are responsible for your own mental health journey. And so if there are things that are shared at any time on any podcast episode, feel free to take a pause, to exit out, to share it with somebody else that may be more relevant for. But we definitely want to make sure you can choose what is right for you and your mental health journey. But again, we are not here to diagnose, to treat, or anything like that. We are simply humans sharing our lived experience. I know y'all also see something else on my head, baby. Yes, honey, yes. Now, she's not on the website. By the time y'all see this on YouTube, it will be on the website, more than likely. But you can always DM me if you want one of these leopard, do good, be good dad hats. It has this distress feature, which, all of our hats have. And baby, she is popping, okay? You can find this and all other episodes of Soul Seek Conversations, our mental health podcast, mental wellness podcast on YouTube for now. Just type in Soul, S-O-L, Seek Conversations, just like you see above on YouTube. And then you can also just type in Soul Rise Essentials. And we do have a playlist, a podcast playlist that has each and every episode. If you have a mental health, mental wellness, or resilience story that you would like to share, we would love to have you. We just have to do a pre-interview to make sure it's a good fit for the podcast. Baby, we booked all the way until 2026. So we would love to still get you on the calendar to fill it out. We do this once a month because mama is busy, okay? But I still love bringing value to our community. Shout out to those of you who join us every single month, whether it is live or whether it is on the replay, and also for sharing. And also for, sorry, I'm trying to do something while I'm talking, for stopping me out like in public and telling me how much you love this podcast. The thing that I love most about our podcast is that it has a really big following of Gen Xers and boomers. Can y'all believe that? So if that generation is listening to anybody, the fact that they're listening to me and they gain something from, or us, not just me, but the Thrivers and Soul Tribe family that are also joining, that means so much to me because y'all know, can't many people tell them nothing. And so shout out to the ones who want to learn and who also offer their love and wisdom to us, but they do more learning here than anything. And so what a blessing. All right. Well, Morgan, if you're ready, baby, let's get on in here and get this podcast done, girl. Let's see. Do y'all love my mug or do y'all love my mug? There's no other answer other than I love your mug. What's up, Nubia? Thank you for joining this morning, this afternoon. Cheers to y'all. Ain't nothing but water here. It's all right. We started the morning off good with some fruits, veggies, and nuts. Yeah. Hello,
Hey,
gorgeous. How you doing?
hello.
Can
I'm
you
good.
hear
How
me?
are you, beautiful? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for joining the Soul Seed, child. It took us a while to get here, but we here, honey.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy
Yes.
to be here.
Thank you. How you feeling this morning? This I keep
Um,
saying morning, this
I
afternoon.
know. We just hit the afternoon, so you get a pass. Give
Thank you.
yourself some grace.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I can't complain at all.
Good,
How
good,
about
good.
you?
I am doing good. I always like to do a check-in, and I appreciate the question being sent back to me as well when we start, just to let people know we be having life too, child, before these red lights and white lights start beaming in our face.
And you know, when I
Um,
ask somebody how they doing, I care. You know how people just say that because that's their greeting. How you doing?
yeah,
I really
yeah.
want. I notice when people don't respond back. I said, "How you doing?"
I said, how you doing? And I'm gonna be honest, I'll answer that now, like how I'm feeling in this moment. But like recently, it's been crazy. In this moment, I feel good. I feel centered. I feel excited for my day. But the last few weeks, it has been growth pain after growth pain after growing pain after growing pain. It's
Mhm.
been a lot of internal conflict and things I've had to resolve, and I can't respond the way that old me used to respond. And
Uh-huh.
baby, biting your tongue is hard. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But silence is a superpower.
I'm learning that. That's a hard one for
It
me, but I'm
is.
learning.
It
I'm
is.
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for joining the Soul. See, everyone who does not know, this is Morgan Carey, but I'm going to give you the floor to introduce yourself for those who may not know who you are yet.
Yes, I don't. You know, sometimes it's hard to introduce yourself. I am Morgan Carey. I am, let's see, many things: a breast cancer survivor, coach, consultant, author, content creator. I'm a lot of things, but
Yeah.
most of all, I am joyful. I am happy. I am just overwhelmed with gratitude most of the time. You know, like you said, when growing pains happen, you have to bring yourself back to the gratitude space and remember that there's much to be thankful for and very little to complain about.
Yes. And I know that that can seem so cliche to some people, but when you've lived life, I'm noticing I'm only in my mid 30s. But once you get to a certain place in your
Mhm.
life, you just realize how fast it goes. And
Yeah,
then similar to you, like if you've experienced something similar to any type of cancer or some type of terminal illness or like just illness that's really scary, it makes you appreciate life and the lessons even in the midst of. So I love that you said
absolutely.
that. Have you always felt that way though?
Always felt grateful and
Like
overwhelmed with
like
joy.
saying, yeah, have you always felt like that, that positivity?
No. If I'm being honest, I used to be a negative Nancy. I used to like, oh, woe is me. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I think a lot of it used to come from holding myself to conventional standards, trying to live my life like what I thought I was supposed to, whatever we've been conditioned to do. By a certain age, you're supposed to do this. By a certain amount of time, you're supposed to have this. You need to go get the degree. You need to do this. And if you don't have 2 degrees, you don't have, and if you don't have any kids, then you're this. And you don't have a boyfriend, then you're this. And you're not married by this time. I threw all that away, honey.
Mm.
Threw all that away and decided that I was going to live life on my terms.
Do you
And go ahead.
do you feel that you get pushback, even if it's just energetically? Maybe people don't always verbalize it, but do you get pushback from people for defying societal norms?
Absolutely. Every day. Every single day. If I say, I don't, I've gotten to this age, I used to really, really want to be a mom. It used to be like the only thing I wanted to do. But when I really started to process, if that's what I really wanted to do, if I thought that's what I was supposed to do, it was like, and then I started telling people, like, I don't really know. I don't know that I want to do that. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I think people started saying things to me like, well, wait until you get 80. You're going to wish you had kids and things like that. And I think that people do stuff like that because that's what they decided to do. And now they have to justify that they did what other people wanted them to do or what society told them to do. Now, of course, if you want, I shout out to all the mamas and the daddies because I think y'all doing a wonderful job. But I
Girl,
love being an auntie. And
Hello?
that's okay.
And
I
that's
think it is.
okay. That's
And that is okay. And
okay.
it doesn't have to be about having kids. It can be about getting married or being in a committed relationship or starting a business or working a 9 to 5. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you happy, whatever fulfills you, that should be the thing that you do, or that you're working towards, and not the thing that somebody told you you're supposed to want. Because I guarantee you, when you can strive hard enough and you can get that thing that they told you were supposed to want, and you probably still aren't going to be happy.
Come on, baby. The thing just started. We can hang up now. This
Yeah.
a word. I'm serious. And the reason I asked you that is because I'm very similar in nature to you, where when I was younger, I had a very nasty attitude. I had gone through a lot in my life. I was very angry. And it's taken now, literally in my 30s, for me to process in therapy that I am a pretty, this is hard for me to say, I'm getting choked up. I can be very defensive. I can be very defensive because I grew up. I had to. I'm talking about head on a swivel. Like somebody might beat you up. You might get shot. You need to run if something's going on. I've always
Mhm.
had to defend myself. And so now I am processing, is that serving me? Do I need to put it down completely? Because there are times in life where we need the ego, where we need defensiveness, where we need to be able to protect ourselves. But do you lead with that? And if you're leading that, do you always need that? So I've been processing through it. Girl, this been like
Yeah.
what?
And it's rough though, because you are always in battle with the conditioning. And you have to really process, is this serving me? Or is, like, have I been told that this serves me? And I'm like just trying to do what somebody wants me to do, what I've been told to do, what I know to do.
Yeah.
Or should I do like a period of exploration to figure out, is there something else? Right. And I have to back up because I grew up, I love my childhood, but I grew up at a loss. Like I was born to a mother that was dying. My biological mother had breast cancer when I was born. She got diagnosed while she was pregnant with me.
Wow.
Then so cancer has kind of loomed over my life, and then I get to 38 and I got diagnosed with cancer. I feel like from that, like, young youth to about 38 years old, I was like striving for things that I thought I was supposed to do, and I always felt like I was racing against the clock. I was afraid of getting cancer, right? And so I
Wow.
wanted to get all of these things done, right, before I lose my life or before something happened. And I tried to make stuff happen that I thought was supposed to happen, and I found myself miserable, not feeling good, not happy. And then I got cancer, and I remember laying in the bed really really sick from chemo one time, and I was like looking up at the ceiling, and I had this thought that was like, if I get through this, my life is going to be different, because there's so many things I want to do that I haven't even thought about, planning, right? There's places I want to go, people I want to see. There's a way that I want to experience life that I haven't done up until now. And now I'm sick.
Mm.
I really, really hope that if I get through this, I get a chance to do that. And then by the time I'm on a sick bed or a deathbed again, I can look up in the ceiling and say, there's nothing left. I am
Mm.
so happy with what I have achieved and what I have done and who I have become. That's what I want. And I got up from chemo and cancer that period and hit the ground running, and I haven't stopped since.
Morgan in motion, baby. Morgan in motion.
That's
Oh, that's
exactly why I'm
good.
called Morgan in Motion, because it
So
doesn't stop.
I want to back up a little bit, but before we do, I want to ask you, it was something you said. I have a question for that. Do people have to have a near death experience to come to this realization and not be negative Nancy's anymore and struggle with the
I love that question.
attitudes?
I
Yeah.
love that question because no, which is why I share it. It's like, don't wait until you're laying in the bed and can't move and wishing you could move to have the life that you deserve, have the life that you want, and take the inventory of what you're doing now. And is this serving me, or am I trying to meet some imaginary level that somebody told me I was supposed to be meeting, right? Does it work for you? It's okay if you want to go to this next level, but
Hmm.
does that work for you? Is that really what you want? Or are you doing
Yeah.
that for the other people that's looking
Yeah.
and gonna give you the pat on the back? Because who cares if they give you a pat on the back? Can you pat yourself on the back
Come on.
is the question.
Ooh, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I put a note right here. I'm gonna go back to that later. So we do a couple of segments here on Soul Seat Conversations, and the very first one I like to. We kind of got into this where we asked each other, "How are you doing?" You know, get past the normal societal pleasantries. But here on this podcast, I like to ask a very question, a deep question that humanizes people because you don't know I'm going to ask it. So, first question is: in this moment, on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, how is your mental health?
In this moment, I would say a 4. Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
not a 5 because I'm always working. I have
Mm-hmm.
a hard time like saying, and this might be a struggle of mine. I
Yeah.
have a hard time rating things at the top of the scale, right? Because I feel like there's always something you could be learning, doing, improving, but you have to balance that thought with never being satisfied. That's one of my little internal struggles that
Yeah.
I have to question myself. It's like, are you just never satisfied, or do
Mm,
you really want to learn more? You know.
yeah. That's
But
good.
I would say a 4.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I like to share on that as well. In this moment, I would say I'm about a 4, 4.5 in this moment. But before I got on this podcast, I was cussing somebody ass out. But I did it and I got it off my chest, honey. And now
Sometimes you need that.
yes.
Wait, were
It
you
felt
cussing them face to face, or was it
no.
happening to your in
I kind
private?
of did face to face a little bit, but when I brought myself back, I was like, that's not conducive to the moment we trying to have. But they still needed to be cussed out. So I did it after they got on my face and I cussed them out like, while I was getting ready.
Yeah.
And it felt great.
How do you feel when you lose? I know you're supposed to be asking me questions, but I got a question for you. How do you feel when you kind of lose composure like that to somebody in their face, like they're looking at you and you lose composure? How do you feel afterwards?
A part of me, because I'm such a like hard on the outside, even though I am, but on the inside I have a heart of gold.
Uh
And I
huh.
be saying to it's like twofold. I'm like, I know I didn't say nothing I didn't need to say. Okay. It's probably how I said it. And I'll say it
Yeah.
again. But sometimes I'm like, girl, you did not have to do all that.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. I hate it. I hate to lose my composure. So
Yeah.
if someone gets me to that level and it happens in front of them or I cuss them out, I've never really cussed anybody out, by the way. I don't do it like that.
Call me and I'll do it. Let me stop.
But if I lose, I have lost composure, and if I lose composure after it's over, I'm mad at myself because I allowed them to get me there. You can't let people disturb your peace.
That's
And
a
if they
fact.
have the evidence of them disturbing your peace, that makes me even more angry because I don't want you to have the evidence. Let me go in the house. Let
Yeah. And
me go in the house and cut you out or
right.
fuss or cry or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't want you, especially if someone is trying and you feel
Yeah.
like that is their goal or they were so careless that it disturbed your peace.
Yes.
I'm like, you're not even worth it because if
Yeah.
you didn't care enough to try to protect that with me, I
Yeah.
don't. We
Yeah.
don't even need to talk. We don't
You
even need
are so right. Let me tell you, like I said, I talk a lot of junk, but at the end of the day, I'm such a softie at heart. But like a part of me, well, I'll say this. I have not gotten to the point in a very, very, very long time where I had to cuss nobody out. Let's be clear. Like face to face, no. But I'll probably be, a little snippy.
to.
Definitely have those moments. But somebody in the comments said a vision community health. Shout out to y'all. What's up, Hawks Drawer? Hey, Benita. What's up, y'all? What I was about to say, I'm with you. Like we've done so much work, and we are at an age where we have so much to lose. I grew up a little janky, by the way, so we used to fight and cuss people out. So that was hard for me. So
Uh,
the growth that it took to get here now, I'm like, I done done too
I
much to
love it.
let people
Growth.
get me out my square. And physically and physio. I'm trying to be smart. Don't worry about it. Physically, I would have a headache and I would feel my blood pressure going up. And then once I
Hmm.
started to get to that point, I'm like, they the one over there feeling just fine. And I'm all worked up. So I try not to get
That
to that point.
that right there. That's it. Because
Yeah.
they don't. They especially if I feel like you don't care. Why I care?
Why I
Let me,
can.
let me get myself together.
Yeah. Well, thank you for answering that question. I have an exercise that I like to do, and we kind of got a little because we vibing. I've done a podcast episode with Morgan before, and it was fantastic. Y'all got to go check that out. What's it
Mhm.
called again, so people can write it down?
Girl, I gotta go look at the title because I don't remember.
The People Power
Oh, you
People
talking about my
Podcast.
podcast? I
Yes.
thought the title of I thought you were asking the title of the episode. The People Power Project is the name of the podcast. People Power Project podcast. You can find me on YouTube, or you can hit it should be a link in my bio to go straight to it.
Yeah, y'all gotta
If
go
you go to
check that
YouTube
out.
and search the People Power Project podcast, we talk about building better workplaces. But the topics will surprise you because it's not just about work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check that out. So we already vibing, but I do like to start off before we get into deep conversation with an exercise called I like to call it a mindful moment, but it's essentially just box breathing. Have you ever done that before? Any type of mindful breathing?
I've done mindful breathing, but I haven't heard of box breathing. Teach me.
So box breathing, it's a very simple concept. Have you ever been scrolling online and sometimes you'll see something that like goes like this, or it'll tell you to breathe in. It's like a
Uh
circle
huh.
and then
Uh
breathe.
huh.
That's essentially all it is. So there's
Okay.
so many different ways you can do it. But what I do here on the podcast and by myself anywhere where I'm at, I breathe in for 4 counts. So that's the four, and then I hold for four, and then I release for four. And the way you complete the box is just to give it 4 seconds before you do it again, but it's more so like a triangle here because I just do um, breathe in for four, hold for four, release for four, and then we start it over. So I'm gonna start
Okay.
calling it triangle breathing. So we're gonna do that 4 times.
Okay.
And
Let's
then we're gonna get back into this lovely conversation. So
let's
just be
do it.
very relaxed and put your feet on the floor if you can. And just relax. And everybody in the comments, y'all know how we do. Y'all can do it with us as well. And I'll count us off and we'll inhale for four. Three, two, one. Inhale. Three, two, one. And hold. Three, two, one. Release. I'm going to do that second time. Inhale for four. And hold. Two, three, four. Release. Third one. Inhale for four. And hold. Release. Last one. Inhale for four. Hold and release. I don't know about you, but it makes me feel very relaxed. How do you feel?
I love it. I love it. I love any type of breathing exercise, girl.
Yeah,
Breathing, it's one of my favorite parts of yoga. At the
yeah.
end, when you get to just lay there and breathe, love it.
It's the best. It's the best.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you kind of talked about this a little bit. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and so I thought
Hmm.
it'd be very fitting to have you on the podcast and share your story. There are so many endings to and beginnings of breast cancer stories, and I think yours is very unique. I think the line of work that you're in, I think the calling that you have on your life and the ministry that you lead is so cool, and you're so young. Like you said, you got diagnosed at 38 years old. I would love for people to hear more about your story. So I thought it'd be fitting to highlight you. So again, just wanted to thank you for being here, Morgan.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you again. I'm
Yes.
happy to share. It's the last day of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I just want to tell people before I even start with my story is that breast cancer awareness does not end today. If you're diagnosed, you're dealing with it now, you've dealt with it in the past. You are, you have some family members as well. It's not over. It's never over, really. And I think what happens with people is after their family member gets their diagnosis, goes through treatment, and comes out and they look like me. They think it's over, and it's like, oh, they're so happy for them to be well, and that's great. You're right. It's over for you if you weren't the one diagnosed and dealing with it. It is over for you, and you can have a sigh of relief. But I
Mm,
always say that for a survivor, the sigh of relief is never full. It's never
mm,
a full sigh
mm.
because recurrence is a real thing, and you are always every single day thinking about, I wonder if this thing is coming back, and if it is, when is it coming back, and what will I do if it does come back, and if it comes back, as you usually comes back worse, so then what's the plan? Like, you have to really manage those thoughts. So there's like a mental health component for sure to being a breast cancer survivor. It's just not physical. It is a big chunk of it is mental
Yeah,
during and after.
that's good. Shout out to my mom, Carmen Young. She's a 8-year breast cancer
I
survivor
love
and
that. Hey,
something.
hey, Miss Carmen.
Yes. Something that you said just now made it click for me. You like, it might be over for you, but it ain't over for her. So thank you for dropping that nugget on me. I needed to hear that. I wanted to
Yeah.
go back to your childhood just very briefly. I know that you said you were born to a mother who had gotten diagnosed with breast cancer when she was pregnant with you. So
Yeah.
can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I have two older brothers, and so she had already had children, and then she wanted a girl. So she was trying for that girl. When she got that girl, she got sick. Isn't that sad? I always think that part of the story is so sad. But she got diagnosed when she was pregnant with me, and as the story was told to me, because I was a baby, and she has siblings, and I'm very close with one of her sisters, and she told me that my mother was diagnosed while she was pregnant with me, and the doctor told her that if you want to treat this cancer now, you need to abort the pregnancy so we can treat you. Of course, she didn't do it because I'm here, and she is not. But while she was pregnant with me, the cancer just grew, and by the time she got to get the treatment, it had spread so much. And
Wow.
they tried back then. Chemotherapy was not like it is now, and so it has made some advancements, but it's hard on you now. So I just imagine it was harder then, and so they tried really aggressive treatment. And I honestly think the treatment probably killed her a little faster than the disease, because they went in really aggressively, and the doctor just kept going. And I don't know if she had the best doctor, from some of the stories that I heard. And so she didn't make it. 2 years into my life, she had passed. So I don't remember her, which is a mental struggle within and of itself. Right? If you think about think about a child that lost their mother. People think because you don't remember and you're a baby, it's not as bad as if you were older. But it might be even a little bit worse, because there's a void there, and you don't really even understand what the void is. You don't know what it is. You don't know. There's no videos of her, so I don't know what she sounded like.
Wow.
I don't know what her mannerism is like. There's pictures. I got plenty of pictures, but she looks different in all the pictures. So can you imagine not really having a true mental picture of who you came from? All of her pictures look different. And I'm always told I look just like her. You look so much like your mom, and I do look like my biological side of the family. And but it's always been something missing, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But my father got remarried, right? And he married a wonderful woman who I call my mother, and I don't allow anybody. I know technically she's a stepmother. I do not subscribe to the word, the title stepmother. She is not my stepmother. She's my mother, because she raised me and loved me, and I really don't even think about the difference. Isn't that amazing? It's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
story.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful and sad at the same time,
Yeah.
because I was able to experience having a great mother and being raised by a wonderful woman who raised me to be the woman that I am. I was always afraid, though, of getting cancer later, but then when it showed up, I was kind of like, no, there's no way God would do that to me. There's no way. So I ignored it for 2 months. I ignored the lump.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lump before that I paid attention to, and it was actually a cyst. So when they went in to do the biopsy, it kind of deflated and it was nothing. So I was like, maybe it's that again. And I was too busy doing other things, and I was like, I'm not gonna try to go to the doctor. It's okay. And I remember telling my sister, I was like, there's something in there. And she was like, well, I think you need to go. You probably need to go get checked. I was still like, nope. But then the next month, it felt bigger. So there was no choice but to go and get that done. And I got it checked, and they said it's cancer. And I
Wow.
remember feeling like my mom was right beside me, and I just remember feeling like the room just started spinning. I didn't hear anything else after that. Nothing after that diagnosis. But it was cancer, and I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, which is one of the most aggressive breast cancer. It is typical to African American, more
Mm-hmm.
typical to African American women than any other race, and it only responds to chemotherapy. So the treatment options are really, like, there's only one. You don't have a lot of treatment options, so that's the survival rate if you get diagnosed later is a little bit lower, because you only have one treatment, and most people can't take chemo. Chemo is not meant to be taken for such a long time, in large doses. I know some people take it for a long
Mm-hmm.
time in lower dosages.
Yeah. Were
Yeah.
there other family members besides your mom that, like, was it people before her or maybe other relatives, even on your dad's side, if you know anything about him?
Well, what's interesting is no one before her that I know of on her side of the family, but her mother, my biological grandmother, also passed from breast cancer, but she didn't pass until she was in her 80s. So I grew up knowing her. Growing up, I grew
Mm,
up around her. I have had a relationship with her. Then I was there when she passed. But she got diagnosed at like 79 and she lived to about, I think, 84 when she passed away. And so, but we found it really, really late. She didn't tell anybody. She knew she had that lump and she ignored it. And then by the time my aunt started stepping in and caring for her, it was so far gone. She did a partial mastectomy and did some chemo pills, I think. And she lasted really strong for about 5 years, which is the survival rate for somebody diagnosed so late. She lasted for 5 years. She didn't go down until like the last 6 months of her life where
and
she
that's
decided.
for her to be that age, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We didn't do
yeah.
any chemotherapy because we didn't want her to be sick during her last years, just wanted her to enjoy as much as her life. And then I got diagnosed, right? And I also have a biological cousin on that same side. She had breast cancer, and then my aunt got diagnosed shortly after me. The aunt that I told you, that's the sister of
Wow.
my biological mom. So
Oh,
it is to say that it is a family history is almost an understatement for my family. It
right.
is the thing.
Wow.
But some people have heart disease in their family
Yeah.
and diabetes and things like that. And cancer just happens to be our thing, I guess, in the genes.
Were you pretty health conscious before?
I wasn't as health conscious
Mm-hmm.
as I became afterwards. I was always active, always a run. I started running in the army. I joined the
Okay.
army in
Oh, you were
2008.
in the army.
Yeah,
Wow. Thank you for
yeah,
your
yeah.
service.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I was in the army. So that's where my running journey kind of started. And I
Mm,
just kind of kept that going. And so when I went through chemo and the cancer diagnosis, I really, really wanted to run. I used to hate running in the military. But then when chemo and cancer came, it was the thing that made me feel alive. It was a reminder because it's like if you're running down the street, if you're running miles, you're not dying in my mind.
yeah, yeah.
And so it was like a reminder that if I can do this, I can keep going through chemo. If I can do this,
Mm,
I can keep going. So I ran as much as I could through the chemotherapy. And so, chemotherapy is cumulative. So every time you go, you get a little weaker and a little weaker and a little weaker.
mm.
And so until I was too weak to do it, I just kept running. My nurses would be like, "Did you run today?" Yeah, I did. I did. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah.
Frances in the comments. She said it took her, it was about 2 years ago that her mom got to see a picture of her own mother. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting, and that's
Yeah.
tough. Can you imagine what that does to like your psyche? The person that you come from,
Yes.
you don't know them. You
That
have
brought you in
no
this world.
that brought you in this world. You really have no point of reference for
Yeah.
them.
I could not imagine.
That's tough. That's tough. Yeah.
So, Francis also has a, pressed juice business, and are you still doing that? I know that that was part of your healing journey as well. You're juicing.
Yeah, I juice for me. And I when I juice when people ask, but I do not advertise because you remember when we started this, I told you I was a lot of things. And sometimes you got to learn to let go of some stuff because just because you can do a lot of things well doesn't mean you should do all the things. It's like something you may
Yeah.
have to let go so you can focus on some other things. And I wanted to put my focus into podcasting and developing people and things like that. So
And
yeah,
I have a e-commerce business coaching client right now, and I told her the same thing. She's so talented, so gifted, but when I think of her and some other entrepreneurs, because they do so much, I don't know what to think of first. And then also when people are asking for recommendations and referrals, sometimes I may forget to refer them because the other business ain't popping my head quick enough. So
yes.
I tell people we're gifted. Like Morgan, you do a lot of things. You're great at everything you want to do. Same here. But I don't do speed dating events no more. Now, why would y'all in 2025 be asking me about speed date RVA when I'm focusing on Soul Rise Essentials? I had to put
Wait, they
that.
still asking you?
Somebody asked me the other day, and then somebody showed me
Yeah.
a flyer for, because I did my very last event, I think 2 years ago. Someone showed me a flyer of that event because it was in the same month, like this year, and they thought the event was coming up. I said, baby, I'm glad you did not go to that. And the year was
It
on
wasn't
there.
for me.
Yeah, I said, because we're not there. That was 2 years ago. That was the very last one. But they just showed me a flyer. They was like, well, it says October. I said, yeah, no, baby, I'm not gonna be there. But I tell people like you gotta focus, because now
Yeah.
when I think about you, Morgan, I think about HR, I think about people development, I think about running, so it's on
Hmm.
brand, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And
So
I still have a hard time niching down. I still struggle, but I remind myself every day, like, how are you bringing this? How does this come back to your brand? How does this
yes,
come back to your brand? How does this come back to your brand? You have to do
yes,
that. But Fran asked, what was your juice
yep,
focused on? Was it your cancer diagnosis? When I would juice for myself, yes, it was focused on things that were meant to stop cancer cell growth or just kind of kill cancer cell growth, because you can't. I learned when I took like a juicing course, and I learned that the amount of nutrients that you can get from putting it in a juice, you can't get it from the Whole Foods. Whole Foods is better, but you can get so much more in if you're juicing it, right? So I would just try to do that and cut out the sugar.
yeah,
Yeah, so it was focused on really cutting out the sugar and for me, cancer. But I would also tell people about things that help for things that you common diagnoses like high blood pressure or cholesterol and things
yeah,
like that. I would tell them about fruits and vegetables and juices that might help with those things.
yeah. I
Yeah.
also thank you for answering that. I also wanted to go back to this societal norm conversation we were having. How do you kind of define what society says you should do and be during your cancer journey? Was there anything that you did or didn't do? Were people saying you should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that? You were like, I'm gonna do this my way.
Yeah. So I used to do a lot of reading when I first got diagnosed, and the more I read about other people's stories and things like that, sometimes I would get really encouraged, and other times I would get discouraged. So what I decided to do was like almost do quality control on
Yeah,
what I was listening to, what I was
yeah,
reading, and who I talked to. Because
yeah.
if you told me stories about people dying, I didn't want to hear it, right? And you'll be surprised that people would say, when you talk to them, people don't know what to say sometimes, and so they'll start saying things that aren't isn't help they're not helpful, like, oh man, yeah, I know so and so, she had breast cancer, she didn't make it. And I'm thinking, why would you tell me
Right.
that? When
And that's when
I
I
just
would have
got
cussed them
diagnosed,
out.
why would you tell me that? I
That's
don't.
when I would have cussed them out, Morgan. And not even cussed them out. Maybe I just would have wanted to cuss them out. But go ahead.
Why would you tell me that? So, like, basically, QCing what I would let in. That is how I manage myself, my mental health, even physical health. What are you going to let in? What are you going to watch on TV? What are you going to take in social media? What are you going? And you have to do what works for you. So, yes, to your question. And then
Yeah.
some people would say, well, eat this or don't eat that. Well, I decided to create a program based on the things that I read. I just cold turkey stopped having sugar. Now, some people I read from a nutritionist, and she was like, "You don't need to cut out sugar. Sugar does not cause cancer." Okay, fine, but I know I could get a little bit more healthy, so I'm gonna cut out sugar. If you want to tell people don't cut out sugar, I'm gonna cut out sugar right now in this fight.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would just program my mind and set it on what I can do. But then I didn't beat myself up either. If I wanted to have a little piece of chocolate, I would have a little piece of chocolate,
Yeah.
but and just not, I focused on more of what I took in than what I was going to take out,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, to
Yeah.
answer the question, I did create my own program and
Yeah.
listen to me, take in and then get all the information you can, and then shape your program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was your journey from diagnosis to ringing the bell?
Yeah, so let's see, about a year and a half, I want to say, because I got the diagnosis and I went right into surgery. Like, I went into surgery the week after I got diagnosed. It
Oh,
didn't take
wow.
long at all. My breast surgeon was the best. I just love her. She's retired now. People ask
Um,
about her, and she was telling me she was going to retire, and I was like, God meant for me to come, for you to
right
stay
before.
until I finish. But I also got
Absolutely.
a couple more people after I got diagnosed. People were calling me to ask me about my process because they felt like their doctor's office was playing with them.
Hmm.
And I actually wound up calling that office to try to get those people in. And it worked out where she was
Wow.
able to take them.
Wow.
And they're doing well now, those
Shout your
people.
doctor out, child. She retired.
Yeah.
Don't call her, but we got to give her flowers.
Her name is Dr. Blanchard. Dr.
Okay.
Blanchard, and she was at Mary Washington in
Okay.
Fredericksburg. She
Oh,
was
in
the best.
Fredericksburg.
If you go on YouTube, you will see the young Dr. Blanchard videos of young Dr. Blanchard being interviewed all the way up until her retirement time. She was the best. For her to be doing medicine so long and to get to me at that age, she had been doing it for years. then. And when I got diagnosed, she came over to me and I was shaking. When I was in that office, I just remember not being able to stay still. I mean, even all from head to toe, I was shaking from fear. And she came over to me, I'll never forget this, and put her hand on my knee and said, I know you are scared, but this is survivable. And I mean, I stopped shaking when she did that, and I came out of there and was able to make the decisions. And after it was over, she went to my mother and said she made all the right decisions, because a lot of times the doctor is not telling you exactly what to do; they're giving you options, and then they kind of do what you say based on those options.
Wow.
But to answer your question, it was about a year and a half. Yeah.
A year and a half. Yep, you answered it. Thank you.
Okay.
Michelle says, shout out to Michelle. She is a breast cancer survivor as well, diagnosed in 2018. And she said she monitored also what she took in because it was triggering some things that people said.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, and people always have something to say.
Yes. Yes. And to Francis, she said, oh, to the good medical professionals out there. Thank you to
Yes.
those few. I also wanted to mention something because you touched on this briefly, and I feel like this needs to be lifted up a little bit more. Um, Positive thoughts, the power of our mind is unlike anything. Whatever we believe is true.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever we tell ourselves, that's the program we operating from. And
Mm-hmm.
quite literally, your brain is designed to go out and seek what it is you already believe.
Yeah.
So if you're not being positive, then and you listen to the wrong people, especially going to a journey like this, you might gotta get rid of those people that are not giving you the stories of survival, even if it feel like a little delulu at the time. Because like your doctor said, this is scary. You have every right to be shaking in your boots, but
Yeah.
it is survivable. Can I say
Yeah.
100% you're going to be here at the end? No, but I don't need you to be scared about it. Something because your brain is so powerful. So if you're already thinking, I'm going to die, this is going to be, your body going to start responding to that. And your mental
You're,
health is going to start responding to that.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because even after she said that to me, you get home, and I always think about people after their diagnosis, because people are talking to you and all of those things, and you may have a support system, but there's always these moments where you are by yourself in the dark. Literally, it could be right before you go to bed. You could have been woken up out of your sleep, and it is just you, the darkness, and the Lord, and your thoughts about, oh my gosh, I have this diagnosis. I might die. Oh, what is this gonna look like? What's gonna happen if you're a mom? What's gonna happen to my babies? All of those things may be running through your mind. But there is something said for the moment when you're like, you know what? I am here, and I just have to accept where I am and decide what I am going to do next. And it was a moment when I was laying in the bed, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I don't think I've ever told this story out loud. So here y'all getting a treat. I was in the room by myself in the dark, and I wanted someone to talk to, because if that just felt like somebody was with me, if I could talk to them and things like that. But I had talked this thing out. The diagnosis was here. I had cried. I didn't really have any more tears. And I found myself, before I know it, I was in a corner on my hands and knees, like not on my hands and knees. I would have my knees like pulled into my chest, and I was sitting in the corner, and I was shaking again, just scared, and was like, what? And something came to my mind. It was like, what you're doing right now isn't helping you. You are losing your mind right now. This is what's happening to you, because you can't get yourself together. And then a thought came to my mind. I feel like I always say God dropped this in my spirit to say, you are not dying today. So get up and do whatever is next. And every time I feel a little sad, or felt a little sad during that time, I would say, Morgan, you're not dying today. So what you going to do? What are you going to do? You're still here. So there's something for you to do.
That's good, girl.
Yeah.
And I do believe that is applicable to anybody going through literally anything in life, and also with any type of illness or diagnosis. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And there's so much content out there, and even books that speaks to neuroscience and creating like new pathways in your brain and the power of our thoughts. And it may seem woo-woo to some people, but like you just said, what am I going to do this entire time for the next year and a half? Because that's how long your journey was. Sit in this corner?
Right.
You
better do something. You better do something, because this is not it. You're going to find yourself just not being able to pull it back together. And the brain is very fragile. It's very fragile. It can snap, and you could never come back.
Come on.
And so you just want to make sure you are telling yourselves the right things, pushing yourself in the right way, believing the right stuff. And because taking care of that brain is the first step. Without
That's
that, you
good.
don't have much.
That's good. Michelle says, I thank God right when I was diagnosed for healing me 100%. I never said I had cancer, and that's what got me through it. Ooh, you already thanked
Mm,
him for the
I
healing,
love
honey.
that. Yes, I think it is so. It's important that she said, "I never said I have cancer." It is so important. I have a friend that told me that it's not your cancer. You know how people say, well, my cancer was like this and my cancer was like, I am very careful to not claim the cancer. It's not my cancer. That don't belong to me. The cancer, it was there, it was a diagnosis, but it's not my cancer. But I see people do that a lot. And for maybe they don't notice, but for me, it's important not to claim it.
That's
Yeah.
good. What can you say to people who are helping, well, how do I say it, supporting someone through a journey like this? Because you mentioned earlier, sometimes people don't know what to say, and sometimes we don't know what to say. We just be saying anything, child. And so, what can people say or do to
Oh.
hold space for people going through a breast cancer battle?
Yeah, yeah. Remember I said earlier, silence is a superpower? I just feel like if you don't know what to say, silence is good. And you can be silent and not like be distant. You can just let someone know, like I tell them that I am here for you. I'm here for you. If you want to talk, let me talk with you. If you want someone to pray with you, I'm here to pray with you. Ask, can I pray with you? Also, oh, ask the person that is being diagnosed with breast cancer, do they want that pink ribbon? I want you to ask somebody, do they want that pink ribbon? Because I'm gonna tell
Mm,
you, when I first got diagnosed, I did not want that pink ribbon. I didn't want
mm,
it. The pink ribbon did not symbolize beauty. It was not a club I wanted to be in. It's not a sorority. I understand that we come up with physical things to symbolize something. And most things have it. Domestic violence has a purple ribbon, and childhood cancer, I think, has a yellow ribbon, and different types of cancers have different. I understand. But before you start giving someone something with the thing to represent the thing that really is bothering them right now, ask them, do they
mm,
care? Would they like it?
mm.
That's helpful. Be curious about how someone is feeling, about what they want. I think that's the best thing, instead of guessing or doing what makes you feel better about it. Do something that would make them feel better. They might
Mm.
just want you to pray with them. They might just want you to not mention the word cancer. They might want
Mm.
you to come over and help clean up because they don't have the energy to do it. They might want you to help get their kid to school if you can do that. I'm not saying take on an extra burden, but if
Yeah,
you're looking for a way to help, get curious and ask, or maybe be observant about them.
yeah.
So you're not just doing something to check off a list to say, oh, I helped them, or I checked in on them, and you really didn't help at all. You
I
might
saw
have
a
hurt.
post. I saw a post the other day that said instead of saying "Let me know how I can help," you can say, I'll be making a grocery store run this evening. What can I get you?
Yeah.
Or I'll be in your area today. Can I drop off some mail to the post office or whatever? Like just make a
Hmm.
suggestion that's already
Yeah.
in line with things that you have to do anyway. So like you said, because life is busy, you know what I mean? So instead of taking on an extra burden and trying to do what you think feels right, but you sign and huffing and puffing the whole time going there because you don't overcommit it, why not tie it
Yeah.
into something that you're already doing? Because people gonna hear 1,000 times when they're going through tragedy. Let me know how I can help. Let me know if there's anything I can do. Just send the
Yes.
flowers. Send the flowers. Send a meal train.
Yes.
Send a Amazon grocery cart. Like what? Just do
Hmm.
it because people are
Hmm.
tired of hearing that. And maybe I don't know what I need yet. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what I can ask you for because I don't know what your budget is. You might be struggling financially, and I need some groceries for them. I can't
Yeah.
call you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I had people send books. That was helpful. Some people sent books, and they sent books not just about breast cancer. I had some people send those, which was helpful too. But some people sent books about, you know, somebody sent me a book about Job, the story of Job and his patience and all of those. I thought that was wonderful. I read that. Some people sent me a book about perseverance. That's helpful. I love books. So that was thoughtful to me because they knew I loved books. I knew, and sometimes I got books I don't even read. I think I just like to collect them or
Yeah.
flip through the pages. But
Yeah.
that makes me feel good. And so that was thoughtful. Some people sent a lot of flowers, right? And at one point, I had moments, child, when I was just angry. I got too many flowers one time. I was like, I'm not dying. But
Mm,
I love that people were thinking about me. So I
yeah.
think being thoughtful is good. I mean, the person is gonna go through what they're gonna go through. You don't exactly know what's gonna trigger them. They just
Yeah.
might be triggered anyway because the whole situation is triggering. What's
Yeah.
important is that you show up. So I don't want to deter anyone from showing up, but I
Yeah.
think it's important to be thoughtful about how you show up.
Yeah. And not being afraid to ask people what it is that they need.
Yeah,
And if they don't have an answer, let me know when you do. I'm right here. And then follow up. Check on them
yeah,
in a week or two, in a month or two. Okay, what's up? You ain't had nothing then. What you need?
yeah.
Um, I also wanted to say, ask you, how can people advocate for themselves, and how can people implement boundaries? Because
Mm.
some people overstep them and think they're trying to help. Or, I read this book and they say you shouldn't eat that and did it. It's so much like being inundated on them. So how can people advocate for themselves?
Yeah, I love that word boundaries, right? But I think that's a whole topic. The boundaries. We talking about boundaries on the People Power Project too. Some of the more recent episodes, because I think that's an ongoing thing, and not just. You might be just starting to learn how to do that in
Yeah.
cancer, in a cancer diagnosis, and it's a great place to start. Right,
Yes.
figuring out, because I said figuring out what doesn't serve you in the beginning, but being able to speak up and also carry yourself in a way that means you're letting go of what doesn't serve you, or you're not going to be around things that, and sometimes that doesn't feel great. You mentioned growing pains. Putting in boundaries is going to cause some growing pains, right? You just have to realize what that is and accept that and move forward. But I think how people can do that is first to figure out what your boundaries are, and then remember that the boundaries are for you and not them. So what that means is, when you set the boundary, don't expect people to adhere to them. Don't expect them to automatically adhere to them, because when you set your expectation that way, you're probably setting yourself up to be angry, because you're going to be like, well, I told them that this was a boundary and they don't see what I'm saying. It's not for them to see. The boundary is for you. So what you have to do is,
Uh-oh, your sound went out. Oh, somebody. Okay, you're back now.
yeah, move. You set that boundary and then you put that boundary into action. So if you don't like to be in a place, say you got a friend or something that's not very peaceful, and every time that friend calls you, they call in with gossip and problems and issues, but you love this friend because it's been your friend since kindergarten, and
Mhm.
you like, girl, you always calling me with a problem, and I really can't deal with problems right now. I'm a cancer survivor. I don't want to hear no problems. I want to hear happiness, right? You might have to have that conversation with her and say, listen, every time you call, I know we probably engaged in this before. Exercise some grace. I know we engaged in this before, but I can't do that now, because
Yeah.
now it doesn't feel good to me. And it actually feels like it's distracting me from the path that I'm on. I'm on a path of positivity, and these
Yeah.
conversations don't feel positive.
Hmm.
If they don't, they may respond well in the moment, and then the next time they call, they're like, girl, let me tell you this. And they go right back to the old pattern. You don't even have to explain yourself again. You don't get mad at them. You
Yeah.
say, oh, word, you know what? I got to get ready to go.
It
You
sounds
end the
like.
conversation, because remember, and you can tell them then, because remember, this don't feel positive. Okay. So
Hmm.
I'm going to talk to you a little bit later.
Yeah. It sounds like you had, that's really good, first off. It sounds like you had, because I was going to ask you another caveat to that question. It sounds like you personally had a good experience with your medical team, but how can people, if anything you have to share, how can people advocate for themselves in the medical field?
If you are not getting answers that feel good to you, if it feels off to you, it probably is. And if you are not getting answers that feel good to you, go to another doctor. I think we are so you, and especially if you can, go to another doctor. Talk to other people who have been through what you've been through as well, because you might need to compare notes. And when I say notes, I mean real notes. When you go to the doctor, if any kind of diagnosis, breast cancer, whatever, and they telling you all this stuff, I had a journal. Get you a notebook specifically for this diagnosis or this event or whatever, and write notes. Ask questions during your visits. If you can't remember what to ask, then write them down before your session or after your session, and ask them the next time. Or call your doctor back and leave a message with the nurse and say, I got 3 questions I need them to answer. Be curious about your diagnosis, and don't worry about what they might think, if you're getting on their nerves, whatever. Is you are the one diagnosed, right? And I know doctors get diagnosed to it, but in that moment, they probably are not. And you are your top priority. So it
Yeah,
doesn't matter if you're getting on their nerves, and if you feel like they're acting like you're getting on your nerves too much, you need a new doctor. You
that's
need a new
right.
team. That
Yeah,
there is not only one cancer treatment team.
yeah.
And just because they got doctor in front of their name doesn't mean they're good.
What about for because I just from knowing you personally, like via social media, I know that you have a pretty close-knit family, your adoptive family, some of your biological family. But what about for those people going through a cancer diagnosis and they don't have a village? What can you say to them? Because I also wanted to ask you who was there, but I can assume your family, but please chime in.
Yeah, yeah. My mother, that was my ace, boy. She told me, "All right, you gonna come over." I left my house the day of diagnosis and never went back. I never went back. I mean, I stayed with my mother the whole time, and when I got done with my care over there with her and my father, because at the time my father was alive, so my father was around doing my diagnosis and my care, and he did as much as he could. His mobility was a little bit off, so he didn't like to come up and down the stairs, but sometimes he would just come up them stairs just to check on me or
Mm,
to bring me food when my mom wasn't there. So my mom, she cooked for me and things like that, but I recognize that some people don't have that. And if you don't, what I would say, on the days that you are feeling well, make sure you stock up on your soups, make sure you plan and things like that to get the food and the things that you need in order to just at least eat a little when you're going through chemotherapy. If you
yeah,
don't have a village, though, a whole village of people, because I do have a big family. It's three sides to my family, and there was people on all three sides there for me during that situation, and so that's a blessing. But I recognize that everybody doesn't have a family like that. But I encourage people to take inventory of who you do have. Because you probably got a friend, you probably got a coworker, you probably got some. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's also organizations to help. You can start to build your village, staff your life with your therapists, your support groups, your organizations, and things
that's
like that
good.
that will help you. I'm a part of an organization called the Pink Christmas Foundation, and there are other foundations like that can help you. In the Pink Christmas, we celebrate people, women of color, and mothers who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and we do a breast cancer brunch that we're gearing up for right now. You can get your tickets, you can come, you can celebrate. We just went over excuse me, the applications for the mother we're going to honor this year. We'll do a Christmas brunch where we get the Christmas gifts for the kids so the mother doesn't have to worry about Christmas. And we also have the Pink Acre Fund where we help people all year long. So connect with organizations like that. Connect with us. Look us up on Instagram, or go to the
And,
website,
and what's the Instagram and the website?
a Pink Christmas Foundation.
Okay.
That's it. And the website is a pinkchristmasfoundation.org.
That is
Yes.
awesome. I
Connect
love
with
that.
us. You volunteer at places.
Yeah.
Connection is the key. You may
Yeah.
not have a village that you grew up with organically, but you can be. I have a friend that her biological village isn't necessarily like mine, but what I notice about her is that she has created a village. She connects with people, young and old. And if you ever meet her, she never meets a stranger. Her personality, no matter what she has gone through, she's one of the most resilient, most resourceful people that I
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have an illness and hasn't gone through anything like this, but I always admire her, the way that she can connect with others and build a family outside of a biological family. And I would encourage anybody that's going through something to just take a piece of that and a piece of what I'm saying and connect with somebody, because
That's
that one
good.
person can grow into the village that you feel like you never really
That's good. Michelle
had.
also said that there are support groups at some hospitals too, which is
Yeah,
amazing. I
yeah.
love that. I love that. I love that.
Inside the
I
doctor's office, a lot of times there are flyers, and look for these things. There are flyers. Ask the doctor, because I know my breast surgeon, she told me about groups and people that were contributing in regard to the cause, just because she knew about it. It had no connection to her or that hospital. It was just that she knew about it. So
Yeah, yeah. I always encourage people, whatever they're going through, you got to advocate for yourself and use your voice. So we have not because we ask not. So I love, love, love all of those things that you ladies shared. I know that movement is very important to you. And I know this to be true because number one, you're in the army, which I found that out today, but also following you on social media, you were always dancing, child, moving, honey. And
I love
so,
it.
yes.
Yes. Dance movement, it makes you happy. And they say, studies say that dancing is better for depression a lot of times than medication. Now that is not to tell anybody stop taking their medication, because I
Of
believe
course.
that medication helps. But all I'm saying is movement helps. Do all the things. Do all the
Yeah.
things. I mean, if you, I don't see how people can hear good music and don't move. At
I
least that's my thing. I don't
know.
care if you can dance or not. I mean, I
Yo.
think sometimes the joy is just moving and don't care if you can dance. And
That's
guess
it.
what? If you are in your house by yourself, I'm not talking about going out and partying. Do it by yourself. Nobody dance like nobody is watching, and nobody is watching. And guess what? You still get the same benefits.
Yeah.
Get up out your bed in the morning, hit the play button on your playlist, and just dance right there beside your bed in your night
Yeah.
clothes. Who cares?
Yeah, and on that topic, shout out to Michelle. You ladies have a lot in common. I don't know if y'all know each other, but thank you for being here and being so engaged. And she said, "Thank you for your service. I was in the Air Force. Thank you for your service."
Thank you. Thank
Also,
you.
I on that note, I have a podcast called Soul Tribe Vibes. I'm not a podcast, a playlist. So if you need it's if you need something to pick you up, something to cling to, something to make you feel good, it's a couple Stevie Wonder songs on there. Because when I sing his songs, honey, he's talking about some girl. I'm talking about myself, honey. I am loving on
Let
myself.
me tell you,
So you
singing
go
love
to
songs to yourself is a vibe.
Yes, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to Apple Music, any of those, you will see Soul Tribe Vibes playlist. And another plug here, we have a brand song that is on every single streaming platform that you could find. It's called Soul Rise,
Okay.
SOL Rise, and it is so dope. It's a song for Soul Rise Essentials, and it is a vibe. Play that when you going through your breast cancer journey and when you
Yes.
going through whatever journey in life. And it was created by Jordan Knox, who shared her story of having schizophrenia on our podcast. She's an amazing writer, amazing lyricist and rapper. And then it was also this hook of the song was sang by my best friend Amira, who also shared her story on our podcast as well. So it's a huge effort with great energy, great story, great connection behind it. So I had to throw that on there too. So look up Jordan Knox, that's Knoxx, and then Amira Malika, Ameera. If you type in either of those names with the word Soul Rise, go play our song. Okay, period. I'm sorry, back to you.
Yes, but I think like movement is wonderful. You have to stay moving. That's another reason why my name on Instagram is Morgan in Motion, because the motion doesn't stop. And it's really how you stay connected to people. You exude the joy, and you actually have the joy, because this isn't
Yes,
about just looking happy
yes,
and having a smile on your face just because
yes.
it's pleasant. It's about developing that smile from the inside out, the happiness from the inside out, the joy from the inside out, and that takes you doing the work, having the coaching, having listening to conversations like this, doing the podcast, getting up in the morning and making the effort to move around even when you don't want to, hitting your favorite song so you can dance it out before you get ready to go to work, dance while you're getting dressed in the morning. Another reason why I post my get ready with me's, I post them, and every time you see me getting ready, I'm dancing. And it's real, it's authentic, because I really cannot hear music and not move like that. And it just makes me feel so good. And I just want to give that to
I
the
love
world.
it. I love it, honey. Oh, this has been wonderful. I have just a few more questions and then we're going to close it out. But this has been fantastic. Baby, we can do more podcast
We can
episodes,
do
honey,
more.
because we have
We can do
so much to
more.
talk about. I wanted to talk a little bit more because in our quiet conversation offline, we have talked about just you posted something online related to this recently too, but just the type of personality that you have while going through this. And I think it speaks to what you just said actually. Like there are some people that just nothing can get them down, and there's something that shines through them from the inside out, and you are one of those people that a lot of people are attracted to. And then seeing you go through all of that, that's kind of sad, because you go through losing your hair and like losing the
Mm-hmm.
weight and things like that, and but you bounce back, and I love to see that. And that's why I thought sharing your story on here was very powerful, because you kept that joy on the inside, even on the days where you had to remind yourself, but in your room shaking because you were so scared, in the doctor's office
Mm-hmm.
shaking. But that's what I always say. We honor all emotions and phases of life over here. But
Yeah.
the goal of Soul Rise Essentials is for your personal sun to rise again, your soul to rise again, because we're going to go through things in life. But you have to find, like she just said, a tribe of people to be around you, whispering the right things in your ear,
Mm-hmm.
and that have been through things too, whether it's breast cancer or something else. They've also gotten through it. We need to hear
Yeah.
stories of resiliency. And
Yep.
it don't mean that you've arrived nowhere, because it's going to be something else in Morgan's life, something else in my life that we're going to have to hop over a hurdle again. But I said all that to say, what the hell I was about to say?
What was you about to ask me?
Oh, personality. You had posted something and actually taught me something. It's a word for this. Something about, remember we were talking about having a personality, and certain people, it just be rubbing them the wrong way.
Tall poppy. Tall
Tall,
poppy syndrome.
tall poppy syndrome.
That's what it's called.
What is
Tall
that?
poppy syndrome. It's like imposter syndrome with a twist, what they say. It's like when people that, especially people that you love, when they criticize you, discard you, insult you, ignore you, it feels like confirmation of what you already feel, because you already don't see yourself as greatness, but you exude greatness.
Mm,
So the people that are criticizing you and coming down on you is really because they are kind of doing it from a place of insecurity. It's like a twist on all the things you're used to, right? Because you think criticism means they don't like me, they think I'm terrible, but a lot of times people are criticizing you from an insecure place, and they really do like you.
yeah,
It's like it makes them feel worse when you are great, and that's a sad place to be. Those people need help. They really, really need help. But when they do that, you receive the criticism, you receive the insult, and you receive like whatever the negative thing is that they're saying, and it feels like confirmation of what the negative things you already feel about yourself. But they don't know that that's happening to you, because you just keep going and your natural greatness keeps shining. So they just keep hating. So it's like a cycle
wow,
until somebody decides to work on themselves. It's
yeah,
either them so they can stop being so critical,
and
or
hating.
it's you so you can just live up to your greatness and stop beating yourself up, and stop, like, tell yourself a better story about yourself so you don't feel bad about yourself. So whatever criticism they're telling you doesn't validate that negative thing. Or both. They work on themselves so they can stop being so critical, and you work on yourself so you can believe your own greatness.
That's so good. And I was at a conference recently. I don't know if you've heard of Sharice at Sassy Jones, but she was on the
Mm-hmm,
panel, and I
mm-hmm,
asked her a question. I stood up and I was like, because she has a very big personality similar to you and I.
mm-hmm.
And her answer to this question really surprised me. And I like how she did like a twofold answer. But my question was, what do you say to the woman that feels like she has to dilute her personality so that other people can feel comfortable, essentially? Like, you don't want nobody to think you doing too much, or your color's too bright, or whatever. What do you say to that woman who's even considering that she needs to dilute herself down because of other people? And her answer was dope. She said, first off, it's always intrinsic first. You're going to look inside. She said, there's a part possibly inside of you that wants to believe that. And I
Yeah.
said, oh, because, I'm thinking she going to be like, you need to tell them F off and da 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 da, just keep doing you. But she was like, and I think that speaks to that tall poppy syndrome you just talked about.
Yes, you
There
need to
is
work
a,
on it.
yes, there's
You
a
need to work
deep.
on you.
Right, because of course the easy target is to say the other people are insecure, but is there something inside of you, even with all of this greatness, right? That is there's a wound up in there
There's
somewhere.
a wound that you're allowing that criticism to touch you in that way.
Yeah.
So, and then what happens is we react to it, and now we look like, you ever notice that if you allow somebody to get you to react, you wind up looking like the crazy person? But the
Yes.
truth of the matter is there's something in you that believes what they're saying, something
Mm.
in you that believes the criticism, the insult.
Girl.
Because if you
Oh,
didn't, it wouldn't bother you,
that's true. And
right?
that's what she said. Listen, let me tell you something. Y'all are preaching to me, okay? Sister girl got some work to do.
Yeah, yeah. So don't believe the work
That's so
on
good.
you. And if that means sometimes the working on you, I know we've been talking for a while. I could keep going, but sometimes the working on you requires isolation, and this is why people don't do it. That's why it's hard. People will say I'm working on me, and every time you see them, they out with a bunch of people. They doing the same things they were doing before, and this and that. Most of the time when you are truly working on yourself, it requires some level of isolation, because you got to get with yourself and realize what's happening to you. Where are the places that their insults speak to you? Where do you not lift yourself up enough?
Ooh.
When are the times when you're speaking the wrong message to yourself? And in order to do that, it got to get quiet so you can deal with you. It's
They
hard to do.
deserve.
It's hard to do, but I encourage anybody to do it because the outcome, baby,
Yeah.
the
You
outcome,
you'll really be that girl or that
you'll
guy.
really be that girl and not just posting that you're that girl. Because it's a lot of
Right.
people that post I'm that girl and they're really sad on the inside.
And insecure and crabs
Yeah,
in a barrel and energy precedes them and it speaks
yeah.
for them.
They dressed
But
up like that girl and they look like that girl and they probably really are that girl,
yeah,
but they got to develop that part of them that truly believes that so they can truly be that girl.
you just read me for filth a little bit. Not a whole lot, you know. But these are things that I needed to hear. I can't wait to talk to my therapist next week.
Yeah,
Thank you, Morgan. This has been a great episode. I am
I
so
love
glad
it.
that you survived your journey, your breast cancer journey. And we
Thank
want to lift
you.
up all of those who did not. And just send our love to you all, to your family members. And
Yes.
shout out to the tribe of people that supports these beautiful women and men that go through breast cancer journeys, you know.
Yeah.
And this is a topic that we need to talk about a little bit more. And I love that we've talked about how to advocate for yourself, how to set boundaries, how to talk to your medical team. Y'all can go Google how to do an exam, you know, all that stuff, because that's, you know, we look that up. But I love sharing these
Yeah.
personal stories so that you can see other people growing through these tough moments in their life. Any final thoughts, Morgan, and how people can find you and what you do?
Yes, I just thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And I'm sending love, light, hugs, joy to everyone. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it. We talked about a lot of things today. And so share this with someone that needs to hear it, a loved one, a friend, co-worker. And also follow me, subscribe to my podcast, the People Power Project podcast. We talk about all the things over there, how to build better workplaces, how to make you a better leader from the inside out, not just how to do SOPs, all the boring stuff, SOPs and things. It's more about how to build yourself, love yourself, topics like we're talking about today, and how you take whoever you are, whoever you built yourself to be, you take that to work too, and those people see that. So you want to make sure you're loving and leading yourself from the inside out. And follow me, Morgan _ in motion. And on TikTok, I'm the People Power Project.
I love it. Thank you, Morgan. This was
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
a
you.
thriver, a survivor, and for joining us, OC.
Absolutely. See you.
Yes, y'all, that wraps up episode 49 of Soul Seat Conversations. That was Morgan Carey, and she is absolutely amazing. We thank her for sharing her story. As she said, if you know anyone that is currently in a breast cancer journey or has gone through one, they just want to see something inspiring, definitely share it with them. We could keep on talking, child, but I got to get out this office. And thank you all, Francis, Michelle, Tasha, and everyone else that joined the podcast live today. If you made it through this entire episode, put down below in the comments hashtag replay. But also, if you made it to the end, definitely put down some sunshine emojis in the comment to represent the Soul Tribe and to show us that you gained something from this. I'm just so overjoyed. I love doing this podcast once a month. I kind of wish I could do it more, but again, Mama is busy. So I will see you all next month for our guest that's joining us in November. And remember to mind your mind, child, and shine your light. I will see you next time. Thank you for joining Soul Seed Conversations. You can shop soulriseessentials.com. Peace.